Hey Book Dragons, I'm glad you're here. It's time for my weekly digest. We're going to dive right into talking about some of the books I'm currently reading, some books I started. We'll talk about some things to do with the channel, and then we'll talk about other shenanigans I got up to. So stick around. I hope you enjoy the content. Say hi to Ari if you get a chance, and in the comments below, if you don't feel like commenting, just leave a cat emoji, and Ari will be perfectly happy. So she's decided to join me today. So starting off with the books that I've been continuing to read. I didn't finish any books this week, but the books I've been continuing to read are Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury. And this is, man, I tell you what, I was not expecting how dark this book would be. I really wasn't. I mean, it's good. I'm enjoying it. I like it dark. But I wasn't expecting it to be as dark as it is and to be as creepy as it is. So I'm really enjoying it. The whole circus atmosphere and everything to do with it really has me perplexed. I don't know exactly what to think of it. There's definitely some otherworldly stuff going on. So I'm really enjoying it, and I can't wait to find out where this goes. I'm about 100 pages in, and I might finish it by the end of next week. We shall see. I'm also continuing to read A Night in the Lonesome October by Roger Zelazny. I haven't quite read the 29th yet. So I am getting lots of answers, though, as to what's going on. And there's been this whole thing throughout the book of openers and closers and different characters asking each other, are you an opener or are you a closer? And I'm kind of I've been trying to figure out what in the world that means. But they're all kind of playing this game, and some are openers and some are closers, which I assumed meant that they were opening the spooky season and closing out the spooky season. And it was clear that they were on opposite sides, opposite teams, and they were kind of probably going to have to do battle with each other. But it has less to do with that and more to do with whether or not the eldritch gods of Lovecraftian horror are able to enter this world through a gateway. That's what it seems like. And I was getting Lovecraftian vibes earlier on when I was reading the book. But now it's become apparent that a lot of this is very Lovecraftian, and I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving the book. I highly recommend it to anyone to read. So, yeah, stay tuned for my final thoughts. Once I finish the book, I will probably do a review for it. I think it warrants a review. So, I started 2 books while I was on my trip, and I'll talk about my trip later on in the shenanigans portion. But I started 2 new books because I didn't want to take physical books on the trip and risk them being damaged. And you know, I take pretty good care of my physical books, so I didn't want to put them in a suitcase or a backpack or anything. So I took my Kobo with me, and I started The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz, and that was my patron pick for this quarter. And it's about an aspiring author, and she is a huge fan of this really popular author, and that author decides to hold a writing retreat, and the main character really wants to go to this writing retreat, but she doesn't meet all the qualifications, so she doesn't think she will get in, but ultimately, you know, she gets in. So it's a very interesting story. It's been really hard for me to pin down. Oh, you're getting down. Okay, Ari. It's been very hard for me to pin down whether it's a thriller or a horror story. It feels like it's got some ghost story elements, so it might be venturing into horror territory, but I really don't know. And I like that. I like that I can't predict what's going to happen next. And so I'm here for it. I like the writing style. I like the characters. It's told from the first person perspective, which isn't always my cup of tea, but I'm jiving with it so far. And yeah, so that's the writing retreat. I'm enjoying it, and I can't wait to read more of it. I also started on my Kobo Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. This was the book that came up in my deck of power requirements. I drew a card that required me to read a book over 1,000 pages, so I decided I've always wanted to read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, so I picked that up. And I was worried, guys, because it's such a chunky book. I was worried that it would be a really slow burn. And it's kind of a slow burn, but it's an easy read. It's engaging. I like the time period it takes place in. You know, it's right at the tail end of the 18th century, beginning of the 19th century of our world, but kind of an alternate version of our world where magic has previously existed, but it's kind of laid dormant up until this point. And I'm loving it. I'm really liking it. So I haven't gotten very far. I've only hit 4% on my Kobo, and that's only the first 2 chapters. But so far, I'm intrigued and I want to know more. So yeah, that'll be a good thing. All right, so that's it for the books. Let's talk about some stuff from the channel, okay? So this is the channel notes section. I did do a dual review, as promised, for Pet Sematary, for the book and the movie. I watched the original 1989 version of the movie. I'm not going to bother with the newer version. And I gave you my thoughts on both in that video. Part of it is spoiler-free, and part of it is spoilers. So just be aware when you go into it, there's timestamps. You can go back and forth where you need to. And if you want to skip spoilers, you can do that. So, but if you're interested in hearing my thoughts on Pet Sematary, check that out. I also did an unboxing YouTube short where I showcased a new book by Chad Nicholas, which I have reviewed on the channel. You may have seen that. And that was my unboxing for One Grim Night. So I'm not going to show a whole lot about it here, but you can see it here. And if you want to see more details about it, you can go watch that unboxing. And let me know if you enjoy seeing unboxing videos on YouTube Shorts. It's something new I've been doing every now and again. I'd love to know your feedback. So there's that. I will still be doing my Misery review. It's probably not going to go live until next week. I still need to film it and share my thoughts. Might be the week after even, because I've got a lot of stuff that I want to do on my channel coming back from my trip to New York. So I've got some videos planned for that. So I might not get my Misery review out until the following week. But we will see. And that brings us to my videos for New York. I talked briefly about doing those. I have 2 videos planned. One is a vlog, or at least I'm going to attempt to put it together and share it as a vlog. We'll see how that goes. I've never had great success with vlogs in the past, but we'll see. So I talked about books I'm reading in the vlog videos. So we'll see how that goes. If it's just going to be an absolute mess, I probably won't put it up. But just be aware, it may be coming. And then there's one other video that is for sure coming. So that's really exciting. I'm excited for that. All right, and then let's move on to other shenanigans that I've been up to. One of those is the fact that I've been on vacation since October 22nd. I won't be returning until November 3rd to work. And I am so glad I took this time. I turned 50 years old this week, and I was determined that I was going to treat myself for my 50th birthday and take a couple of weeks off. And it's been very, very refreshing. I've gotten lots of reading done. I had a fun trip to New York with my partner, Kara, and that was a lot of fun. So you'll hopefully see more of that in the vlog. But we did a lot of fun stuff, ate some really great food. Chinatown was an especially great food experience, but we had so much great food. It was, oh boy, wow. Yeah. It was good that I had to do a lot of walking because, we averaged about 14 to 15,000 steps, at least a couple of the days that we were there. For each of those days, we hit about 15,000 steps. And that's good. I got plenty of exercise to work off all the good food that I got. So it was a lot of fun. And I'd always wanted to go to New York. And it was just an amazing experience sharing that with my partner. And I would definitely go back to New York City. And I think I would have to, because there just wasn't time to experience everything that you want to experience in one trip to New York. Especially when it's just a weekend turnaround trip. So, what do? It just means I got to go back. But I did discover, though, that I probably only have one major trip in me per year. I'm getting older, and it's getting more tiring to travel a lot. So, I probably only have one major trip in me per year, but we'll see. I did 2 this year. One was for my partner's birthday in Disneyland, and it was totally worth it. We had a great time, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But yeah, New York was fun. Got to see some booktubers while I was in New York. Got to hang out with Joe over at Book Buds. Mary was not, unfortunately, able to join us. But got to hang out with Joe, Chris from Chris Reviews, and Dave from Book Blather. Just a great time spent with those guys. And guys, if you're watching this, you are awesome. Don't ever forget how awesome you are. And it's a unique experience to meet other booktubers face to face. It was a great time. So, yeah, that was kind of the gist of the New York trip, but you'll probably be able to see more details in the vlog when that goes live. Thinking more about it, maybe even if it isn't quite put together, maybe you want to see the vlog anyway. Let me know in the comments below, and maybe I'll just put it up either way, no matter how bad I think it is. Maybe you guys won't care, and that's cool. I love that about this community. So, more to come. So that's the New York trip. I also got in a couple of good horror movies just before the trip. And we watched The Thing by John Carpenter that came out in I think it was 1990. And man, that movie was something else. That movie was really creepy. And pretty gory. I mean, it was cool because of all the practical effects that they used. It wasn't all digitized and everything like that. You got to see some really creative practical effects in that movie. And, oh man, yeah, that movie was intense. And then my son came over to visit that week as well, and he really wanted us to watch The Black Phone, which is based on a short story by Joe Hill. So we watched The Black Phone, and I really, really liked that movie. That was a great movie. So it makes me want to read the short story now, which I think is in 20th Century Ghosts, I want to say. I think it's in there. Let me know in the comments below if I'm correct on that. But I think it's in 20th Century Ghosts. And yeah, The Black Phone was a great movie. And that kind of wraps up my week. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments below some of your thoughts on what I got up to, some of the books I'm reading, Tell me some of the books that you've been reading this week or some cool horror movies that you've been watching. Let me know that in the comments. If you want to watch more of my content, there's some recommendations here on the end screen. And until next time, make sure you read more books. I'll talk with you soon.